Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together every day, just about 7 days a week, give or take, and we chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Now, we do have a special guest that we will get to in just a couple of moments. Special is a term we throw around quite easily here on Coffee Talk. But at any rate, let's just start off with a look outside. It is beautiful here in downtown Orlando with mainly clear skies. But I do want to show you our first warning Doppler radar is tracking just a little bit of rainfall. It's over along the shoreline, but if you live out that way, it's just not the most perfect of setups. Let's take you to the Brevard and Volusia County border where we're watching these heavy downpours kind of streaming through town. It's going to continue to be a great day for you. That's certainly the good news, but there is a little bit of rain that we have to deal with. Some of this may try to wander over into Scottsmore, Mims, and Titusville. And we do have that at least mentioned in our 12-hour forecast. Take a look here. We're starting with a 10% coverage of rain. That rain chance is going to continue to graduate to about 30% later on as temperatures today climb to about 86 degrees. So again, not a bad setup at all. It's just one of those things that we have to deal with. Kind of like me having to deal with a particular anchor named Jacqueline D'Agostino. Jacqueline, good morning.
Hey, good morning, everyone on Coffee Talk.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Nothing crazy, man. Since the last time, I can't even remember the last time I've been on Coffee Talk.
It's been a couple of minutes, right? I'm going to put this up this way. That way we can continue to talk weather and all that fun stuff. We just haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. How you been? Life good?
Good. Life's good. I've been just working. I don't know. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I took my dog to the beach. That was exciting.
You are the
That's
most
like the last.
fascinating person I've ever had on Coffee Talk right now.
I know. Well, there's parts of Flagler Beach. If anyone is from the 386, if you know, you know. There's parts of Flagler Beach where you can bring your dog actually like on the beach.
Yeah.
So I have a beagle, and he doesn't like the water, but he likes the beach. So it was cute. He had fun.
Yeah.
It's a little hot, so you can't be out there too long, you know?
It's so nice though. Like look at this forecast today. I mean, temperatures climbing to 86 degrees. That's at least a good opportunity to go walk the beach, right?
Yeah. And yesterday I went to some of the Come Out with Pride events right around Lake Eola and downtown. And I feel like in the shade and every so often there was a breeze. I was out there for a few hours. So like, of course it felt kind of sticky after a bit,
Sure.
But like, if you're only going to be outside for an hour or two, it felt actually nice. Like to go on a walk or anything doable. Like it was really nice.
I think that this, everybody talks about how they hate that it's so hot during October. And my response is always the same. It's like, well, you live in Florida, right? But look at these temperatures for today because it's heading in the right direction. It may not be this dramatic thing, but
Sure.
but I mean, for what it's worth, this is not bad. 86 today in Orlando, 87 in Kissimmee, 85 in the Villages. And Jacqueline, I don't know if you're heading to the coast today, and it doesn't matter, but just if your family back home is going to want to spend some time outside, I mean, look at that, 81 in Palm Coast, 82 today in Daytona Beach, and 84 in Melbourne.
So nice. And it's like, finally, I'm excited to just eat outside and it be nice, like I love eating outside. I feel like a lot of people do. And it's just like nice to be able to enjoy it. And you're not like sweating when you're eating lunch or whatever, Yeah.
Lunch, dinner, breakfast, brunch, whatever it is. I mean, and there's this event over in Winter Park, the Autumn Art Festival. And granted, yes, I mean, if you're out in the sun, it's going to be toasty, but good gravy. I mean, you find yourself under a shade tree or something, perfect.
Yeah. Super nice.
Now, going back to the beach for a moment, because we were talking about it, I do want to make sure that everybody knows that there is a high risk of rip currents. So for what it's worth, we're talking about a high risk of rip currents today. Seas offshore for the boaters running about 3 to 4 feet. Rip current risk is high. Surf breaking at 2 to 3. But Jacqueline, water temperatures are still in the low to mid range of the 80s. So even if it is October, even if we've had some subtle temperature drops, it still feels good in the water.
Yeah. I don't really go in past my knees.
Yeah.
Unless I can see
Yeah,
the bottom
right.
of the water.
Right.
But it's still nice.
Watching Coffee Talk alongside F1 racing this morning. Charles, good morning, my friend. Anybody, Jack Snacks, what have you been snacking on today?
I had a Cliff Bar so far today, and I actually was like choking on it. Like I ate it in a break, like
Aye.
a solid break,
Yeah.
like during the sports. And so I thought I'd have like enough time to eat it and be done with it. And I felt like I had a piece of it stuck in my throat during one of the reads, and I was like, excuse me, because that's just how Cliff Bars work, I guess. But that's all I've had so far. I have some oatmeal from Trader Joe's. It's actually like pecan pumpkin.
Yeah.
And it's funny talking about the pumpkin kick. Like I bought these pumpkin K-cups,
Yeah.
and I only have a couple of them left that are regular K-cups. So I'm trying to like use all the regular ones first,
Sure.
so that I can start drinking the pumpkin ones.
Well, you want
when
to.
it's a little bit. I want it to feel
Yeah.
like Florida fall more before I start drinking. Like it's just a vibe.
Isn't
Like,
it funny though, right? Because like it's fall, the rest of the world is enjoying fall. Like I saw
Right.
these memes about Florida. It was like, I want it to be less than 90 degrees before I can enjoy pumpkin spice, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. It doesn't feel right to be eating pumpkin anything or drinking
Right.
it when it's hot and humid. Like at that point, I want a smoothie. That's like strawberries, bananas, stuff like that. So I've been trying to hold off. And last night I ate dinner outside. I'm like, okay, this is starting to feel right.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what's interesting too? So like we've been, and you are halfway a meteorologist, as everybody knows. Jacqueline knows weather, is unbelievably multi-talented in television, blah, blah, blah. But like this weekend was an interesting scenario because there's this little storm system off the coast of the Carolinas, and here I'll just pop it up. This thing, the models had tried to bring it a little closer to our area and keep us in this soggy, crappy pattern. So if you remember, like early to mid this past week, we were talking about a soggy weekend.
Yeah.
And then this area of low pressure was like sneaking up toward the Outer Banks more, which pulled dry air into our area and gave us this absolutely wonderful setup. So it gave us that little drop in humidity, and it gave us the opportunity to go outside. You were having dinner yesterday. I was at Epcot yesterday, and it's funny. I don't know if the guy knew that I did weather or what, but I heard him just straight. We were in line to get onto Spaceship Earth, and he was just straight up talking smack about weather people. He was like, guys were all saying it was going to rain all weekend. And I'm sitting there like, yeah.
He probably knew it was you.
I mean, right? Like either that or he was just mad at how beautiful the weather is. And it's like, maybe?
I mean, whatever. It's Florida. Like even sometimes outside of our rainy season,
Yeah.
I'm just like, it might rain at 3.
Yeah.
Who knows? It just depends.
Well,
I
and
don't
like
know.
the thing is, it's not an exact science. You do,
Sure.
it's like, we are using, instead of a crystal ball, we're using data. We're doing the best we can.
Right.
But you're not going to always get it perfect, and a couple of miles could make the difference between it being rainy and not. Case in point, it's been pouring off the shoreline. We thought that line of showers was going to be over us, and that's fine. But I don't think that anybody should be upset at better weather than expected for a weekend, right?
Right. I was going to say I'd rather it be that way than the reverse, where I thought it was going to be nice and then it poured.
Right? And so, yeah, last night was outstanding. This morning, outstanding. It's not to the point where, like, you want to open up all the windows in the house and turn off the AC, but these are steps in the right direction, at least.
Right.
And that's, I always say it, and I feel like maybe I sound like a fool, but I say, like, it's an emotional victory. I don't know. Anyway.
Honestly, and I'd rather, and I say this time and time
Yeah.
again, I'd rather be hot for 5 months out of the year and go in a pool or go to the
Right.
beach or chill in the air conditioning than be dealing with snow for 6 months out of the year.
Yes.
Everyone's different, but that's just like, I think it's worth it.
100 times yes. 100 times. Now, that said, I do want to make mention. So that storm system was a little further north than expected. Hurricane Center had the development chances up to 50% this morning, but it looks like that window, that small window to develop, it does not look like it's going to be able to fire up, which is fine with me. So development chances are down to 30% here. And frankly, development chances elsewhere in the Atlantic are nice and quiet. So for now, the tropical Atlantic is remaining quiet, though I do want to point out, let me get the graphic up. I do want to point out that the peak of hurricane season, notice late October, there is a secondary peak of hurricane season. And Jacqueline, you've grown up in Central Florida. You, of course, have lived elsewhere. But, you know, October, you know, Wilma comes to mind. There are tropical systems that happen during the month. So we're definitely not done with hurricane season yet.
I mean, we've even had tropical systems like before hurricane season officially starts.
There has been over recorded time, there has been tropical systems every single month of the year. These are when we get the peaks, and obviously you can see into December the numbers are terribly low, and before June the numbers are terribly low, but they're not nothing, and so, you know, but you know, late October there is that little secondary peak, and then as we get into November, you know, the numbers start to come back down. But I don't think that we're talking about you know, massive numbers, but we're definitely not done, and it only takes one. You know, I always like to talk about Hurricane Andrew because we're in such this busy cycle right now. But Jacqueline, I'm not going to ask you what year you were born. I know the answer to it. I'm not going to make you say that here. But when you were,
I don't care.
Huh?
I was young when Andrew was.
Yeah.
Was a thing.
When you were very young, Hurricane Andrew made landfall in South Florida, and that was an August system. You know, so like when you think about the first named storm hitting in August, you know, that should tell you. But again, it only took that one storm to make it not just a bad year, but really it was a bad decade for Miami-Dade, and it has forever changed the way we look at storms. So, you know, for what it's worth, just remember, it only takes one bad storm to make it a bad year. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like growing up in Florida and then being back, like when it comes to hurricanes, I feel like I really hyper focus on the 5 days. Like busy season, slow season, like whatever. It's so easy to get caught up in like the projections of how many named storms there's going to be and versus last year and yada yada. I mean, obviously that's important, you know, data nonetheless. But I just feel like staying in the now is like key to just staying calm and dealing with it as it comes, you know?
I think that's a pro tip, right? Like, I guess I've never really thought about mentioning that, but like that's a pro tip. Like, what you need to look out for, the best tool that you could look out for is the next 5 days. So it's, and I tweet this a lot, you know, we mention this on the news a lot, but like that's the outlook for the tropics, okay? And the only thing that's on the map, and I'll bring it full screen just so that it's as big as possible. The only thing that's on the map is that area off the coast of the Carolinas. There are other little waves of energy, but nothing that within the next 5 days has an opportunity to form. So yeah, Jacqueline, that's a good call. I would have never even thought to like mention it that way. You know?
Yeah, and it's even like just with, I mean, like our weather in general. Like I can't even, I know like with your long range stuff, we're always like, Eric, what's the weather going to be like in 4 weeks when I have a friend in town, you know? But it's like, I don't know. I'm like, if it's raining, we're going to do plan A. If or, you know, plan B. If it's not, we'll do plan A. We'll figure it out. Like,
no, it's true. Well, and just the sheer fact that we can even do any kind of long range forecasting, I think is very interesting.
Right.
You know?
I do. Yeah. I mean, it is cool. It is definitely cool. But I'm always like, just gotta wait. So it gets a little closer.
Let's see here. Joanne says, I'm glad we've had a calm hurricane season, at least here locally. I mean, it's been a busy season, but at least here locally, it's been calm. Joanne goes on to say, let's try and keep it that way until the end. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Janice, let's keep the tropics calm. Agreed. Charles is asking, any cool or cold fronts on the horizon? So maybe. Give me a second. Let me see if I can dial this up.
Also, Eric, we have 9 minutes.
Okay, 9 minutes. All right, so we've got enough time to do this. All right, give me a second. Do that. Do this. Do this. Now, this is going to be the raw GFS model. And this is going to be the temperature plot here. And just look at the kind of the country itself. And I'm just going to roll through. That's Wednesday. There's a cold front right there. right there through the nation's midsection. You see that? The question is, does that cooler air get to us? It doesn't look like, at least as of this run, it doesn't look like it does. It looks like it gets down to like Georgia and those areas. But for right now, the models are not going there. In other words, and I'll show it to you in a different perspective. So here we are kind of stuck in this showerish set. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Here we are stuck, thank you. Here we are stuck in this showerish setup, and fronts are kind of weakening through. But the question is, and the Bering Strait rule did indicate this front here. That's Wednesday. There's going to be a decent cool front developing and kind of working our direction Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. For now, the GFS model does not show that making it to us. But it's, you know, it's one of those things that may play out. So we'll watch to see how it plays out. But here's kind of how we're identifying the forecast is giving you a pretty nice setup the next couple of days, a couple of showers here or there. But Thursday, Friday, notice we do perhaps tap into some drier air. You know, the model doesn't want that front to get here. The BSR said that it might. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But late this week, and I think I marked it, Jacqueline. Let me look. I think I marked it on my calendar. What is today? Today's, let's see.
The 10th.
The 10th. So I've got on the 15th, I've got a cold front that I marked in September 29th. Yeah. So September 29th, I marked a cold front for this Friday. So we'll see how that plays out. You know, I'm not 100% sure that it happens, but at any rate, that's where we're at. You got anything else?
I don't think so. Nothing crazy.
All right. I guess it's time to get back to work. For real, huh?
Yeah, you got like 6.5 minutes.
All right.
To do the cut-in.
Hey, thanks everybody for hanging out with Jacqueline and myself for Coffee Talk this morning. I hope everybody has a great day.
Yeah. I was going to say, thanks for having me on. # blessed.
# awkward. Just kidding. I just love beating her up. Listen, Jacqueline, thank you for hanging with us. We'll see you. Are you working next weekend?
I'm not. No. But I'll be here the following.
Okay.
There's a wedding that I'm going to.
You got to do you, fam. Got to do you. Yeah. That's fine.
So I'm off next weekend, but yeah, I'll be here the next
Okay.
weekend.
Very cool. All right. So we'll see you then. Not this up. Do you know who I'm working with this weekend?
I think it's Megan again.
Oh, all right.
I'm like 80% sure.
All right, very cool. All right, well, at any rate, have a great day. Everybody, be the sunshine of someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk, and I will see y'all later. My IFB cable